Alright, today we are going to be recording my reaction for the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and what better video to react to than Why Afghanistan Collapsed, American Empire Coming to an End, okay? By David Carlson,
What if
okay?
instead
Let's
of like
get
doing
to
what
it.
Dan does and ending every video with a ukulele song, I start every video with a guitar song. I'm not gonna do that. It's like I'm just not into it, you know? I like the music thing. The music thing is cool, I guess, but I don't want to do the music thing. I don't want to do the music thing. That's his thing. That's for Badan to do. If you don't follow Badan, follow Badan. Today we want to talk a little bit more about Taliban and Pakistan and Afghanistan and all the stans as
So immediately doing an APU reference. I mean, I don't know how useful that is, given how many people know of Nathaniel Abbott within David's crowd of people that watch him. I don't know how effective that is. Anyways, let's keep going.
every
Let's
like
keep going. I'm not going to
middle-class
nitpick every
girl
single
of,
thing.
Middle Eastern
but
descent
most.
says Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran. You grew up in Toronto.
So he's crapping on Lily Singh, which is a good sight to see because she's a bitch.
America now is at a point of what should be some very heavy introspection. We should be asking ourselves questions like, why did we invade Afghanistan? Why did we suck at invading Afghanistan? Why did Middle Eastern goat farmers defeat the American empire?
That is so facetious, bro. Oh, why do we suck at invading Afghanistan? We did a great job in invading Afghanistan. In fact, we got rid of them in less than a year insofar as controlling the vital areas of Afghanistan in 2001, okay? So to say, oh, we suck at invading, no, we suck at maintaining the peace, or no, we don't even suck at that. We just suck at nation building, if anything. So again, I'm just nitpicking that part. And he said, oh, but sheep herders beat the U.S. military. Okay, that is, I know he's exaggerating, but it just annoys me because everybody knows this. Oh my god, the sheep herders destroyed us. Oh, the graveyard of empire. Shut the fuck up. We all know this. We all know this, bro. We're not 13. And anyways, oh yeah. I forgot to preface this. Okay, I know David. Okay, me and David are cool. This is like I don't hate him. This isn't personal. I'm just covering this because I'm not neocon, but I'm definitely like pro staying in Afghanistan temporarily. And so, well, as of 2 years ago. So because of that, I'm gonna disagree with this video, obviously. So that's why I covered it. And plus, I've already seen this one, so I already know more or less what I'm gonna say. So again, I'm not picking a fight with David. I'm just kind of reacting. Okay. Same thing with Vince Dow when I debated him on Afghanistan. Nothing personal. Okay. It's called we do a little arguing. That's it. Okay. Come on, calm down.
Why did we abandon millions, potentially billions, of dollars of equipment in Afghanistan? Why did we pull out in such a disgruntled and ununiformed way that our embassy had to be
The beef footage here, man, this is hilarious. Look at that. What a disaster. This is so bad.
evacuated as the Taliban marched on Kabul's doorstep? We should be asking ourselves these questions, but of course we won't. We won't ask ourselves these questions because our academics, our military academies, our military industrial complex intellectuals, big-brained people, are too afraid to offend their own sensibilities, their own preconceived notions of American supremacy. They're too afraid of asking the wrong question and getting the wrong answer. That answer being, America failed in Afghanistan because America freaking sucks. We ain't got it, man. We don't have it. We don't have what we used to have anymore. There's a great thread by a good buddy of mine. His name is The Prudentialist. So he had this really great thread. I don't think I could bear to show my father this. We got into it the other day. And he's referring to the seized equipment. And he couldn't bear to mention it to his father, who was a lifelong military man, worked in the Pentagon, was stationed in the Middle East, worked in Germany, all of these foreign lands on military basis as a member of the military. My father was in the military, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Our incompetence has grown to such a level that we are arming and funding our enemies. Now I know, of course, we started out with funding our enemies as well. Bin Laden got his start with CIA funding when fighting as a mujahideen against the USSR. Of course, that's true. But we've kind of come full circle now, haven't we? And it's great that, we did it intentionally the first time at least. When we funded the Taliban in the first place, at least we did it on purpose. But now we're doing it on accident, because we're dumb.
We never funded oh my god. Again, lack of nuance here. So these young folk, and by young folk I mean David, who's older than me, is saying, oh, we funded the Taliban. The Taliban didn't exist when we were initially, we were initially funding Bin Laden through an apparatus. I believe it was mostly the CIA that was involved. But anyway, we were giving the money to the Mujahideen, and which later fractured into, the Northern Alliance and a lot of other people, a lot of different groups, honestly. It's very confusing. These Arabs or whatever they are, Pashtun, these people are, a diverse group of people, and they are very confusing to follow. So the Taliban splintered into ISIS-K as that's a more radicalized portion. You could say the same thing about certain Palestinian groups, that one's more extreme than the other. So yeah, the Taliban is the catch-all phrase, but I mean, there's a bunch of different things you could mention here that he is failing to. For example, like I said, the ISIS-K. Before that, before 2000, there was a civil war in Afghanistan, I believe, in 1996, after the Soviet Union collapsed and they pulled out, which we were supporting one side over the other, and ultimately the Taliban controlled Afghanistan. That was not really the intent, obviously. It didn't work out the way that the CIA expected. So to say we were funding bin Laden as if it were a bad thing is ridiculous because, I mean, that's like saying, oh, we gave Lend-Lease supplies to Stalin, so we're stupid. It's like, is it really stupid, or did we temporarily need him to be strong enough to defeat Hitler so that we could win the Second World War? So come on. It's, the enemy of my enemy is my friends, but in that case, bin Laden against the Soviets was a good idea. But, yes, if Clinton had, done things differently, bin Laden would have been killed by 1999, and this would have never happened, 9/11 and all that. So again, he doesn't get the nuance because he doesn't read as much as I do about these certain topics, which is why I'm taking the big brain nuance pill. But anyways, we'll let him,
The
speak.
hubris of the American empire should be shattered. Like, there is no standing to be confident on our ability to combat any regime anywhere when tribesmen defeated us. I mean, China, people talk about fighting China. Are you kidding me? People talk about fighting Mexico or the cartel. Not gonna happen. Not gonna.
Okay, that's asinine. We would do worse against China than Afghanistan. No, it'd be easier. Well, okay, what was the part that was hard about Afghanistan and Iraq? We very clearly, at the very beginning of those wars, completely eviscerated their government and their military, okay? And we made people desert in the thousands. In both the Iraqi National Guard or whatever it was called, the Republican Guard Corps or whatever, and we also had the Taliban, right? They disintegrated into very small bits and pieces very easily, and basically that meant that we easily eviscerated them. And yet he's saying, oh, we can't fight these people. Yes, we can. It's just that when they don't have uniforms, when we can't tell who the hell they are, when you can't tell a 13-year-old in those turban rags versus a 25-year-old, I mean, this is kind of difficult to parse, okay? So when you do end up being brutal, you end up killing a lot of civilians and sowing discontent among these Muslims. So that's part of the reason why we did end up losing the Afghanistan war, so to speak. And ultimately, fighting China would be easier because they all have uniforms and you can tell them apart, whereas with the Afghans, you really can't, because part of the point is that they're like partisans that blend in. Okay, so that's asinine. So in reality, for example, the Germans were more effective fighting the Soviets in the first 2 years of the Barbarossa campaign than they were fighting the partisans. Why? Because the partisans, although less equipped, ironically enough, than the Soviet troops in 1941, at the very least could have blended into the crowds, which made them effective at sabotaging German logistics and killing people. And frankly, that says nothing about them taking on conventional armies. It's just that they cannot police well when they don't know who the criminals are, so to speak. In this case, we can't tell the Muslims apart from each other when they don't have the Taliban formations that are, actually proper, right? They're not going around in hundreds of men rolling around with the AKs and light armor or whatever. So, I mean, come on. Also, oh, well, that means we can't fight the cartel. The cartel would be easier, number one. And number two, I mean, okay, that's debatable. The terrain's definitely easier. Another thing would be the Chinese. Well, the most recent example of us fighting a comparable foe would have been the Korean War, because the Korean War, unlike Vietnam, was us fighting Orientals, but in terrain that wasn't that jungly, as well as there were clear battle lines, okay? So it was very obvious, okay, they're at the 38th parallel, they're over here, they're in the Insan pocket, they're this. So we clearly killed several Chinese people for every U.S. soldier, and North Koreans. So our KD ratio is really good. Just that, when we were talking about people that blend in with the others, how the fuck are we going to be able to tell who they are without just killing people indiscriminately, which would be bad, obviously. So again, he's wrong. If anything, fighting a actual country, an actual government would be a lot easier than fighting the Taliban, because you can't tell who the Taliban are half the time. Whereas if you're fighting the German army, if you're fighting the French, they have their little gay flag, right? Their little, very obvious blue and red flag, and you're going to be able to check, okay, this white dude isn't armed, he doesn't have the uniform on, okay, that's a civilian, he has $10,000 worth of equipment and uniform, okay, I can kill him, he's got the fatigues, he has fatigues on. These Muslims by and large don't do this. Why? Because they want to get away with it. Why do you think they put bombs under fucking schools? Why? So that they don't actually get destroyed, because they want us to kill civilians so that they can blame us for it. So again, oh, we can't fight conventional armies if we can't kill these sheep herders. It's the opposite, actually. So come on.
Going to happen. The incompetence that happened here, and this is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of it. The incompetence that happened in Afghanistan is correlative to the incompetence that we see on the home front. Have you ever taken a step in the DMV? Exactly. Okay, like it's bad. It sucks. The internal rot in the USA, homelessness, drugs, crime, a collapsing housing market, a collapsing education industry, institution, our demographic collapse. It's playing out simultaneously on the world stage. We're seeing the collapse in Afghanistan. We're seeing the collapse among relations. We're seeing the collapse in our standing. We're no longer way stronger. We're just slightly stronger on paper than like China or Russia. But in reality, we're collapsing. These trends are linked intrinsically. The United States foreign relations and domestic policy, the foreign policy and domestic policy, very symbiotic, okay? So what happens in the foreign world affects the domestic world more so than in like Belgium, for example, or maybe that's not a good example, but maybe like Belarus or Turkey. You know, the direct consequences of what happens, with foreign policy, they're seen very quickly domestically, and vice versa. We see political parties rise and fall, majorities in the Senate and in the House, and presidencies collapse because of foreign policy. We saw this with Reagan and Carter. We saw this with Clinton. We see this all the time. We see this with the collapse of the WASP ruling class in the 60s because of Vietnam. They are symbiotic. They are one and the same. Our problems at home are reflective of our problems abroad. Our levels of incompetence are through the roof. That is not stopping in Afghanistan. It didn't start in Afghanistan. It's here at home within our health industry, our healthcare industry, within the CDC, within the DMV, within the DHS, within every bureaucratic institution. And here's the truth. Here's the truth. A society that is ran by experts, credentialed people with 4-year degrees and heavy training, but they lack an understanding. They lack an understanding of human reality. They lack an understanding of the way humans work and operate. They haven't read BAP. They haven't read the Bible. They just don't understand. They don't even have a worldview. They're too busy thinking about the technical numbers. A society that is ran by these experts is destined to die of pure incompetence and laziness and malfeasance and maliciousness and greed because they don't care. And the actions that are taken by the United States are fully reflective of the incompetence of this ruling class that I'm talking about. We fund Pakistan. We give millions of dollars to Pakistan for gender equality studies, and we fund their military, and every single one of those dollars that we give to Pakistan for infrastructure or for equity and equality within their education system, all of that money is funneled to their military. And what does their military do with their money? They funnel it to the Taliban. The Taliban, famously in Pakistan, it's their base of operations. The Taliban, Bin Laden hid in Pakistan.
Okay. So again, he's wrong about this as well. I think he's playing to prejudices or something like that, where he's saying, well, we all know the Afghans are corrupt. Of course, third world people are corrupt. Now, here's the thing. Okay, so he's saying we pay money for feminist studies and all that, gay bullshit in the Middle East, which, fair enough, that is a waste of money. And, Obama was the one who started it, but okay. He's over here spending money, billions, millions, in Afghanistan, in these schools, and then he's saying that they launder it or they, try to embezzle the money from the U.S. grants and try to use that to, and then the Afghans at the local level who are nominally aligned and paid for and, get their salary from the U.S. military and so forth, the government, these Afghan, National Defense Forces, the so-called 300,000 that we had to defend Afghanistan, according to Joe Biden, they basically said, okay, well, we are going to take your money, pretend to run feminist studies with the money, and, put a good bulk of it towards the Taliban. And if that were the case, then why wouldn't they just join the Taliban? And do you really think the Taliban would have been smart enough and organized enough to have thousands of these, councilmen or whatever, these old tribal leaders, to basically coordinate an embezzlement scheme where they're taking a good majority of what they're getting paid for and, bullshit feminist studies and equality and all that gay stuff from the U.S. Army and all that, and take that to fund the Taliban? And without the Americans figuring that out, I mean, I don't think that's really true. I don't think the Afghans really fund the Taliban more so than they just snitch on us. The battle plans, if you watch the movie The Outpost, you would understand a lot of these people don't actually like us but are paid. So they are subservient, but they will sabotage when they can. But would they sabotage with billions of dollars a year? I really don't think so. And if that were the case, we would have noticed. And if we would have noticed, we would have done something. And it probably would have been reported by the neoconservative journalist as a criticism of Obama at the time. Of course, that never happened because what David's saying isn't really true. Just that I think he's assuming that's the case. But again, without looking into raw numbers and graphs, of course he won't know. So him going on a limb and saying that is kind of dumb. Okay, so that's one criticism
Pakistan,
right
they
there.
fund Al Qaeda, they do it all, okay? And that is just more proof of our regime's incompetence. So our regime is so incompetent that we are funding the Taliban through Pakistan while simultaneously fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan and abroad. That sucks. That sucks big time.
Okay, now he's saying, okay, so the foreign aid we give to Pakistan, the Pakistanis are spending on the Taliban, which are based in West Pakistan, to train those Taliban people to move to Afghanistan to fight America. That's a stretch. And again, how is that in the regime's interest to fund the Taliban as of 5 years ago if they are not making money off of it? Okay, so how does this make any sense? So, okay, we are neocons, we are neoliberals. We want to destroy the Taliban and control Afghanistan and make it all paused and Americanized. Okay, well, if that's the case, I'm going to give $1 or $2 billion a year to Pakistan so that they could then launder it to the Taliban, and I'm going to know about it, and I'm going to let that happen. Of course, that doesn't make sense. So the only way that could happen is we give them the money thinking it goes to good causes or it's being effective somehow, and then Obama, gives the money, and then the Pakistanis fund the Taliban, which they are sheltering, in which case they want us to be pinned down in Afghanistan fighting the Taliban forever. Is that really the case? That's kind of a stretch. And again, this, according to David, I mean, this foreign aid to Pakistan has been vital for the last 20 years or so. So if that's the case, you mean that throughout multiple prime ministers, they kept the same policy more or less without anybody noticing? Is that kind of stupid or what? So we already know that the American government, it would not be in their interest, globalist or not, for us to be wasting our foreign aid on them arming the Taliban, and therefore it would have to be under our nose. So how come the U.S. government, who has spies everywhere, wouldn't know that, but David Carlson does? So logically, this doesn't make sense. So either that's not happening, or either way, David's wrong. Okay, I'm just being open about it. Okay, David's wrong about the Pakistanis, wasting $1 billion of our foreign aid on gay stuff such as funding the Taliban. I mean, that's ridiculous. And if honestly, think about it this way: why would they let us get away with killing bin Laden in Pakistan with the embarrassment they got for housing him in the first place? Okay, so clearly they can't be that pro-Taliban. Now, but he does say he has a kernel in truth insofar as there are, certain bin Laden, allies, and there is a good grouping of schools in the Middle East, in the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, which isn't very policed, which is basically where these so-called sheep herders are over there training, in suicide bombing tactics and all that. That is sort of true. And I do kind of see that maybe it is in their best interest for America to stay in Afghanistan the whole time and have an enemy constantly. But at the same time, it can only be a little bit of that because, if it's at a big scale, then obviously America would not want any part of it. So again, this doesn't make that much sense. So again, David is incorrect.
The Afghanis, they defeated the global American empire. They defeated the global American empire. They defeated the global homo, which is another word for gay. They beat us. They beat the elite. They beat the bureaucrats. Why did they beat the bureaucrats? We have to understand this. Why did they beat the bureaucrats? They defeated the bureaucrats because they have an eye beyond the present. They care about the future. They respect the past. The Taliban, the people of Afghanistan, are tribal people. They are having kids. They are religious. They understand that what happens will go on past them and has been here before them. Just 2 months ago, we were pushing the Western gay pride flag onto Afghani people. And now, the Taliban are covering up images of women dressed unmodestly on the streets of Kabul. Meanwhile, ANA, the Afghanistan military, is basically delivering American equipment to Iran. Why? Because they're running away. And Iran's going to get their hands on that equipment, and they're going to take it and reconstruct it and take vital American engineering and repurpose it to defeat us in other forms of combat. How is the world reacting to this? Well, the Taliban have made friends with Indonesia. Russia says that their embassy is going to remain operating under the new Taliban government. China is going to operate. China won, guys. China's going to win with this. China's going to feel great. China's going to have their Belt and Road Initiative. They're going to build railway stations. They're going to build infrastructure. They're going to build their economy in Afghanistan. You know what they're going to do with that? They're going to get oil money. They have Tehran. They have Kabul. They have Islamabad in Pakistan. They're going to use this to make oil money. They're going to become they're going to have a very good time. They're going to be.
Okay, how does this make any sense, though? Oh, I'm David, and I want to pull out of Afghanistan, but also I'm going to tell you how the Chinese are going to exploit Afghanistan to be self-sufficient in oil, which would then necessitate them using less imports from several different countries, which would make them more able to defend in a prolonged war against America. See how fucking stupid that is? So he's saying, okay, look, guys, I want us to leave the house, but if we leave the house, it's definitely going to blow up. Okay, then why leave the house then? So again, silly stuff. He's making the points for me. Hey, China, the superpower that's against us, yeah, they're going to be oil, they're going to be self-sufficient in one of the most important vital resources of our time, which is oil. Um, and okay, and that's going to be a tolerable thing because I just can't stand that we have less than half of a division's worth of troops. Oh man, those 2,500 fucking troops. Oh, the earthquake. Oh, like come on, what a rookie. Oh, yeah, we're wasting so much money in Afghanistan, bro. We have like less than a brigade in Afghanistan, bro. Oh my god, that's such. Oh my god. Neocons stay winning, bro. I'm so fucking right about Afghanistan. We just need to stay there, man. David is so bigoted against neoconservatives, bro. And I hate it. I hate it. I'm right. I was vindicated. David's proving my points. Oh, the government's incompetent. Oh, but if we stayed there, then this wouldn't have happened. Okay, so I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right.
Become even more successful with oil, something that they desperately need. China desperately needs oil. And it's incredible. It's incredible. Just months ago, we were talking about how desperately we needed pride flags in Afghanistan. And now the Taliban Twitter account is denouncing those pretty big. I mean, it's funny, actually. They're posting the pride flag in the tweet with a thumbs down emoji. It's amazing. It's something else, man. It's a complete repudiation of everything that we quote-unquote believed in, and we're pushing on to them.
All right, let's move over.
Half are the educated elite that I was talking about earlier, that are incompetent because they don't understand the nature of human beings or the way humans operate within any way because they're bugmen. They're bugmen and they're bugwomen, and they just don't understand. They'll never get it. They'll never get it. Dan's book, Where the Right Went Wrong, which he published in 2005. And we are hated for what we do. It's not our principles that are despised. It is our policies. We Americans have been behaving like the Roman Empire. Between 1989 and 1999, we invaded Panama, smashed Iraq, intervened in Somalia.
Hold on. Hold this phone. All right.
Like the Roman Empire. Between 1989 and 1999, we invaded Panama.
We invaded Panama. That was a good idea. All right.
Smashed Iraq.
That was a good idea.
Intervened in Somalia.
That was a good idea.
Haiti. Launched
That was a good idea.
That
was a good idea.
Sudan and Afghanistan.
Yo,
Destroyed Serbia.
Sudan,
He imposed
let's
embargoes and
go.
blockades on
Serbia.
Libya, Iran, Iraq,
Libya,
and dozens of other
Iran.
states. The Iraqi sanctions may have caused the deaths of 500,000 children when Madeleine Albright, Secretary of State under President Clinton,
Hillary
was asked
Clinton
if the
over
horrific
here.
toll
What
of
the
Iraqi
fuck?
children was justified. She replied, "We believe the price is worth it."
True. This is so true. She is fucking hideous. But I mean, that's like an 80-year-old lady, but still, like, come. That's gonna be Hillary in like in 5 years, man. This is fucking brutal. Anyways, yeah. So the sanctions on Iraq, which may or may not have led to the indirect death of 500,000 children or Iraqis, we believe the price is worth it. That's a facetious quote, but anyway, is it worth it? I mean, in a utilitarian sense, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, what's your point? Oh, the government's not moral? I don't know, genius. I mean, we're a secular government. I don't know why you expect us to be moral. And I don't think he does expect us to be moral, so I won't criticize David on that. I'm pretty sure he knows that the secular government stuff is stupid and a fake pretext so that we can be immoral and Machiavellian. So I'll give David a pass on this one.
No doubt, in every
We both
instance,
agree on
America
this
acted out
anyway.
of good and noble motives. But can we not understand how others might resent the dirty Harry on the global beat, and how this all neo-imperialism profited our people? The blowback has been an Arab Islamic resort to the last weapon of the week. Terrorists blew up our embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, Khobar Towers, the American military base in Saudi Arabia, the USS Cole, and the two World Trade Centers. Other plots to blow up U.S. airliners, subway trains, and airports were aborted, at least until September 11th. Why did Osama bin Laden target America? Not because we were a democracy, but by his own testimony, because he wanted the American infidels off the sacred soil of Saudi Arabia that is home to Islam's holiest shrines.
So the argument is, oh, we shouldn't have been there. Cuck. It's like saying, so why did the bully kick your ass? Well, you see, he caught me looking at his girlfriend, and she was hot, and he kicked my ass. So next time, I'm just not gonna go look. I'm gonna walk away now. Really, dude? Oh, well, Bin Laden didn't want us infidels in Mecca. Suck my dick. Who cares, bro? Okay, Bin Laden, okay. I don't want to be too vulgar, but come on. Oh, if we had just pulled out our embassies where the Muzzies didn't want us and not go to their sacred land of their black bullshit cube, oh, then they wouldn't have bombed us. Really? Isn't that cucked? Oh, we're gonna protect the maritime borders of everything. We're gonna protect the shipping lanes, but don't put your dirty Christian white boots in fucking Afghanistan or Mecca, Saudi Arabia, because it is sacred to my ass, bro. Who cares? So Pat Buchanan is wrong on this. Oh, we should have just never been there and they wouldn't have attacked us. Says who? Bin Laden? Oh, trustworthy figure here. Come on. Redonkulous. And even if
The
that were the
terrorists were
case,
over here
it's his
because we
burden, okay? He doesn't have the right to kill us, bro.
are over there. If you think the solution to Afghanistan is having more troops, if you think the solution to all of our problems, oh, we left all of this equipment, oh, we left all of this infrastructure, oh, China's going to get an upper hand in the geopolitical region, all of this, if you think that that is a justification for leaving more troops or reinvading, you are responsible. You are responsible, in part, if any terror event, if any Americans die in this region, because people with poor foresight advocate for Americans to fight in Afghanistan for a cause no one even believes in anymore. You would be partly responsible for any death that took place. At this point, we should all know better. We should do better. And by the way, Joe Biden's been doing fine, I think. I've been listening to his interviews, and it's quite fascinating how Joe Biden says, "I don't care. It's time to care about America more than about Afghanistan." It's beautiful. He goes, "Well, if China's killing the Uyghurs, then should we invade China? I don't think so. So why should we invade Afghanistan?" Well, it's beautifully put, Joe Biden. I still hate you. I still think you're a pawn of the global American empire, and you're playing into the hand of our enemies. But
How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense, bro? What? So you're saying, well, I'm glad Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, meanwhile saying he's a puppet and a pawn of the establishment. So if he were such a pawn of the establishment, why did he pull out of the establishment's favorite war? How does that make any sense? Okay, come on. This is contradictory. I, for example, can say Joe Biden, more or less, over 80% of the time, is a pawn, but in certain cases, he is brazen, and sometimes he has the ego or the insecurity of being a loser, so he tries to compensate by saying, oh, I'm a badass, oh, I'm a pull out of Afghanistan, because he knows his floundering presidency isn't going anywhere, so he has to do something important, because he wants his name in the history books. So what does he do? He's going to pull out of Afghanistan. And what did the establishment think? Joe, you're retarded, bro. Don't do that. And he just overrode them because he's an idiot. And again, he has personality issues, okay? He's trying to compensate because he's a loser or, a mediocrity among the elites. So because of that, he does something that is a little wild. And does the establishment control him? Yeah, by and large. But sometimes the president can, cause a fluke. The president can sometimes trump them, get one up on them, or basically lose face and do something crazy, okay? Like Donald Trump several different times didn't listen to the advisors and just ignored them. And the president can still do that, just that he's going to get blackballed big time. So for example, Joe Biden, don't get out of Afghanistan. That's a disaster. He did it anyway. Trump, don't pull out of Syria. That's a disaster. He did it anyway. So is Joe Biden a pawn of the establishment, or is he somebody who's an idiot who sometimes breaks mold with the establishment to self-aggrandize? It's obviously the second option. So again, David's wrong. Okay? Brutal. Anyways, let's keep going.
good on you for doing something correct, I guess. Probably out of pure incompetence, which leads me to my final question. Why is it so important for those 5,000 troops to come home, Joe Biden? Are you going to do something on the American home front that requires 5,000 American soldiers, combat veterans to come home and do something? Are you going to build camps for unvaccinated people? Or what's that?
Okay, again, asinine. Now, I do understand, like, oh, well, Joe Biden might deploy these guys in Syria, but again, 5,000 troops, is that anything at all? Is that relevant? $5,000? That's nothing. That's like saying, Jeff Bezos, I saw you pulled $1 million out of this stock. Are you perhaps trying to buy something with that? It's like, no. He's got like $50 million just like in his fucking mattress, okay? Like, the million is nothing. So when we have upwards of hundreds of thousands of troops, you say, oh, you pulled those 5,000 out of a war? Is it because you need the 5,000 elsewhere? No, he has like 20,000 he can just pull out of his ass at any time. We probably have more troops stationed in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or even Qatar, the country Qatar, than we do Afghanistan, believe it or not. We likely have more troops stationed in the state of Georgia than we do Afghanistan. So again, oh, he needs the troops? Not really. He doesn't actually need the troops. Like 5,000, yeah, that's important, right? We value these people, but again, that isn't the reason why he's doing jack shit, okay? The 5,000 troops are just symbolic, honestly. Why did 5,000 American troops fend off 70,000 Taliban for several years If we are so incompetent at fighting the sheep herders, David, it's because they're fucking scared of the military. Not because of the 5,000, but because they know we have many more. So again, the 5,000 number is really just a symbolism. It is just a formality, okay? It's saying, okay, here it is, okay? My God. So the 5,000 troops we have in Afghanistan is like the symbolic, like, okay, I have the pistol in front of you and I have a Panzer tank right behind me. Okay, I have an M1 Abrams, with the fucking tank pointing right at you, but I'm just gonna use the pistol to scare you. They know we have much more force. If it were just the 5,000 troops in isolation, they would have killed them a long time ago. That isn't the case. They're scared of the entire military. So the 5,000 troops are just leverage on our part and symbolism politically. But he doesn't get this. And I think he does, but he just doesn't articulate it in his head. He can't really think about it in a way that's conclusive because he's saying, oh, he might use the troops elsewhere. I mean, he has tens of thousands of troops in the Middle East as it is. Why the hell would he not use those? Again, illogical. Illogical, bro.
That about? What's that about? I wish I sound like such a conspiracy theorist, but man, they've literally admitted to it already. Like, we're already there. They're already a thing. It's already happening. I'm David with the David Carlson channel, no longer the DC Perspective. We kind of had a little bit of a rebrand. See my teeth?
Ew. What? Okay. Joe Biden moment. Hey, you want to see my dentures?
Better in the future. Putting out more content, more edited videos coming very soon, I promise. And let me know if you want to see
Look
more
how
videos
white
like
he is.
this
Okay.
one, where I just kind of get up here and yell about the world.
Okay, so that's it. That is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me see. Okay, if David is watching this, which he probably will, I just gotta say, dude, again, I just disagree with you, bro. If you want to debate me, that's okay. We debated like 2 months ago, I think. Yeah, and I kicked his ass, obviously. No. Anyway, is he honestly disingenuous? I don't think so. I just think that he's in particular in a way, like the way he thinks. I don't know. He's more in a different mental state than me, and I think that's why he disagrees. And if you were more open to neoconservatism, not neoconservatism, but just be more hawkish in general, then maybe he'd, get my point of view better. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I think that this was a good format, me reacting to David because I know David, so I mean this is kind of meta and interesting. And so anyways, comment down below what you think. David, if you're watching, comment down below what you think or just text me or something. Yeah, so DMs are open, and keep in mind, this is the 9/11 special. I'm not going to upload something about 9/11 because I don't want it, like, that's going to be unoptical, so this will just be the 9/11 upload. Thank you guys for watching, and anyways, okay, I have to say something about the towers, okay, fuck it. Do I think that the towers really went down? Yes, obviously. Was it a green screen? No. Was it CGI? Obviously not. Did 3,000 people die? Yep. Was there a conspiracy? Yeah. Was there planned explosions in Tower 7? I'm pretty sure yes. Is a lot of it, like, lied about? Yes. Is it weird that we only had 4 fighter jets in the New England region to defend New York? Yes. Is it weird that, what else? Is it weird how, let me think of what else happened. Is it weird how the Pentagon, how the plane that hit the Pentagon hit it at an angle that's virtually impossible to achieve, given the stature of the building itself? Yes, that is very weird. Is it weird that the steel in the buildings gave up so quickly? Yeah, that is weird. Is it weird that the insurance claim was filed in a way that would have benefited the Jewish guy who owned the buildings? Yes. I think his name was Larry Silverstein or something. I don't know. Yes. So, again, I might be a conspiracy theorist, but I am correct about this, okay? So there is some sus stuff about 9/11. Of course, 3,000 American civilians did die, 2,900, whatever. Yeah, pretty bad, tragic. And were there Muslims behind this? Yes. Was the CIA behind it? Maybe. Was Bush behind it? Probably not. But anyways, yes, I am not fully in belief of the government theory behind the towers collapsing. That being said, though, I know that the Muslims, the Taliban, whatever, had something to do with it. And I know the deep state had some inclination about that happening as well. But again, these are evil, sick fucks that are okay with 2,000 Americans dying indirectly because of them if that gets them what they want. And that is tragic, honestly. But again, that is just the truth, bro. Just the facts. So, yes, I'm actually ending the video now. I hope you guys appreciate the nuance. And subscribe if you haven't, because if you haven't, I'm going to be pissed at you. Anyways, bye.